Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. This is a channel that we discuss topical issues that affect us in Africa and Nigeria in particular. They are all welcome once again. Today, I want us to look at the issue of democracy, how it has, in Nigeria performed the purpose for which this governance system was adopted in 1999 as against military rule. So this topic today is democracy, a dream deferred. I feel particularly angry about the situation in Nigeria. I remember in 1999 when the military, when they left governance and democracy was touted as the best form of government. It says a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And at that time, we were told that democracy will usher in a new era of prosperity. Is a system of government that the ordinary man will have his say. In fact, we will elect our leaders and our leaders will be accountable to us. And then in theory, some of the hallmark of democratic governance is free and fair elections, free and fair, free press, accountable government, and freedom of speech of the citizenry. That democracy will usher in an era of prosperity, of goodwill, of happiness for Nigerians. We were all enthusiastic. Well, I cannot say the President Obasanjo in his term, he tried because I remembered at that time Nigerian debts were paid, the naira was strong, standard of living was better. I think he did his best. The only thing I have against him is this third term because he wanted to come for third term and it failed. And at the expiration of his administration, he had to relinquish power. After that, it was President Shehu Musa Yaradua who was unable to finish, and President Goodluck Jonathan finished the term. At that time, the doctrine of necessity was invoked. And after that, after finishing the term of President Yaradua, he too was now elected as president of Nigeria. He only did one term, he didn't do second term. He did one term. And we were all complaining. We were complaining that life was hard. At that time, the quality of life, the standard of living of Nigerians was deteriorating. And then President Buhari, and it was so bad till the present time of President Tinubu. Democracy has not really helped, has not really performed the purpose for which it was institutionalized in Nigeria. And why are we to blame? What is the cause of this democratic failure? Because it has refused to remove it. In fact, the democracy we are practicing, for me, has reduced Nigerians to live below poverty line. The only people who are benefited are the elites and the politicians. The average Nigerian has seen the quality of his or her life dwindled over the years. And Naira, as we are speaking, is lying prostate. The value of Naira is so poor that even the cedi is one of the weakest currency in Africa. How did we get here? Can we ask ourselves, how did we get to this point? I have made some observation. I believe that this democratic experiment, this our nascent democracy we are practicing, we are not copying it well. What is the reason? Is it our culture that is adverse to democratic norms of equality? Why? Because the countries that we copied, especially in the United States of America, the government is still accountable to the people. We have the in democratic governance, in theory, the executive, judiciary, and legislature, they are independent and they work for the welfare of the people. But in Nigeria, we're not seeing it that way. What we have seen is that our over the years, our institutions have been eroded and they are very weak. It is the man that occupies the institutions that is the institution. It is not the institution that is strong. So that anybody that occupies that institution will obey the laws of the institution. Is the opposite in Nigeria. What is the problem? Or is it the constitution of the 1999 constitution as amended that is the problem? Because it gave the president enormous powers. I believe the Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the world. He has enormous powers that if care is not taken, it can descend into dictatorship. What do we need to do? And why is this like? Why? What is going on? Why is this so? I, in my research, have discovered a few reasons for why our democratic experiment is not going well. Number one, I believe that the democracy, our democracy has been hijacked by powerful people, wealthy people, people who are very rich. I don't know whether the framers of the Constitution envisaged this problem. I don't know. Did they envisage this problem? That because as it's currently it's in Nigeria, men of vision who can contribute to development of our country cannot cannot vie for elective office because of the cost. The cost of vying for elective office is prohibitive. And I believe that cost is one of the reasons that is fueling corruption. Because when you spend so much, you lavish so much in the name of election, when you get there, you are going to recoup your money. Probably you went to borrow money. Probably you are sponsored by a godfather. The godfather is not going to sponsor you and just allow you to rule. You will be under the thumb of the godfather. Example is what happened in Rivers State. The misgovernance, the stalemate in Rivers State for over a year is one of the examples. Because when the godfather puts you there, you are not going to be free. You are not going to be, it will not be, you will not be free to do the work you are elected to do, to serve your people. So one of the issues is how do we find ourselves here where you need billions to vie for elective position? And another problem we have is institutional weakness. Our institutions are so weak that nobody, that the person occupying that, the chief executive of that institution is the institution. He can disobey the law and nothing will happen. It has gotten to a stage that the judiciary, most of his pronouncements is not being obeyed by anybody. How do we go on? How do we get to be like that? Weak institutions is one of the major problems of Nigeria, and it has gradually, over the years, the institutional strength has been eroded. How did you get here? How did you get there? Then poverty is a major problem. How do we get free and fair election when voters are induced to vote? How do you how do you blame somebody who is so poor that he needs at least temporary relief for hunger, and you tell that man not to collect money to vote for somebody. The increased poverty of the populace is one of the key inhibiting factors for free and fair elections because people cannot help themselves. Then, for accountable government, how can we have accountable? What is the work of the NGOs and the CSOs, civil society organizations, in mobilizing and enlightening people on how we can come together to hold government accountable? For as long as government is not accountable, we can never have good governance. Good governance is one of the hallmark of democratic governance. That is the purpose, so that we have good governance and free and fair election. If election is not free, if it is not fair, if it's not credible, we can never have good governance. It is when elections are free that people who occupy elective position will know that if I don't do well, I'm not coming back. But if I do well this time, after my 4 years, I'll come back. But when elections are rigged, so they don't owe the people anything, they don't owe us any duty. They know that whether they perform or not, if they want to come back, they'll still come back and occupy political position. How do individuals, because right now, those who are in these positions, those who are in this elective, in the state executive, judicial, and legislature, they are the benefits, they are benefiting from the system. They are not going to change. I don't see the National Assembly voting against itself. It is how do we, ordinary Nigerians, what can we do to make governance accountable? How do we do? What are the self-help that we can do in a peaceful way so that gradually we may see change? Probably in the next few years, we may see change. Or else, this democracy, we should rethink it. We should rethink, is it the appropriate government for us? Because right now, democracy in Nigeria is government of the elite, for the elite, and by the elite. The people have no say. Something has to give. In the last 1 week, everybody who is in Nigeria, from President Obasanjo to President Jonathan, they've been speaking on democratic failure, that this democracy is not working for Africa. It's only working for the elite. What can be done? What can we do? It's time for us to discuss, to have a discourse on the way forward. Because in 25 years, Nigeria will be 65 this year. And 25 years, the quality of life in Nigeria has been degraded every year. Now, we have only the naira is not what the paper on which it is printed. And the political class, I don't know whether they are bothered, whether it's worrying them. But I know the ordinary Nigerians, we are finding living in this country a big challenge. The cost of food items, the cost of drugs, school fees, transportation, even the oil that God gave us, crude that God gave us, is not being managed well. We are paying so much. What do we need? What can we do? Because I don't see there we know, I don't see salvation lying in the hands of the bourgeois, the ruling class. They are comfortable, their children are abroad. For me, I think it's time for us to help ourselves. For those of us who have the resources and the ability to help others to get up, for us to establish, is it cottage industries? This is not, this is time, this era now we have is for the entrepreneurs, whether small scale, whether medium scale, for people who have little resources to establish small scale industries. And with the cost of living, with the cost of materials, with an import driven economy. How can even the small scale industry survive? We lack power. What can we do? I think it's time for men of goodwill. It's time for Nigerians from every nooks and corner, from every walk of life to come together. It is very important for us to democratize the governance process in Nigeria if we want to achieve any meaningful objective. The idea that you must be a billionaire for you to vie for elective posts is not going to augur well for our democracy. And we should make up our mind if we want to practice this democracy the way it's supposed to be practiced. A democratic experiment in which the people have a voice, people have a say, people are the center fold of democratic governance. We have to make up our mind. Is that what we want? Or will Nigeria continue to go this way every 4 years? We recycle the same political office holder who have not really contributed to the development of the country. And it's time our young people, instead of you to be leaving, our young people have to stay back. We have to look for a way to salvage our country. We have to look for a way because we cannot continue like this. Look at the National Assembly. For the past 1 month, they've been saddled with the issue of sexual harassment, eh, and all kind of drama in the National Assembly in a country that has various development challenges. The National Assembly, that is their preoccupation. And they are going up and down. And they are talking about 2027 election. This is 2025. And the issues in Nigeria, the myriad of problems, economic, political, infrastructural problems facing Nigeria is myriad, plenty. And they're already talking of 2027 elections. I think it's time for the youth of this country, for us to, are we going to continue with this democracy? Because it's not working. It's not ushering in prosperity. It's not helping to develop our economy. Are we going to have, is it possible for Africa to have their own variants of their own variants of governance that we, engender prosperity in the country? I don't know how Ghana is doing it. They seem to be faring better than Nigeria. But this are Nigeria, the way we are going about our democratic experiment, it's not really helping. If you are practicing something for 25 years and there's no change, instead, things are worsening in the country. Is it not time for us to break and pause and say, do we go ahead? What are the alternatives available to us? What kind of governance will we practice in Nigeria or Africa that will be beneficial to the people? I think that is the discourse, that is the question. And the ball is in all our courts. I don't think anybody has solution to the myriads of problems facing Nigeria. But I think if the process of governance can be democratized, some people are suggesting that we adopt a parliamentary system of governance. Probably, because I don't even think the economy can even sustain the two houses of assembly, national houses of assembly, and all the state house of assembly. This democracy we are practicing is too expensive for a poor country like Nigeria. Nigeria is carrying is bloated, governance that is not really ushering in prosperity for the people. The common man, we're over 200 million. People that are benefiting from this democracy, they are not up to 5%. How do you run a country like that? So this is the ball is in our court. The discussion goes on. I look forward to your comments, to your engagement, And thank you for listening. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.